Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in this wide world of adventure. This is online yoga with Via, and it is May 23rd, 2020. We're going to start the way we always start. I'm going to pin Kathy as the model, and tell me if she's not big on your screen, because we'll need to do something about that. So she's the big picture now, and just find your way onto your back with your knees bent, or your legs can be straight, or you could put your feet up on a chair or a box or a couch. Just starting to notice your breath, come into the room, come into the practice. I'm turning the volume up as high as I can, and then if you view the replay, you may have to adjust the volume. Native breath. Watch the breath that you came in with. And then go ahead and bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. We're going to do vagus nerve reset. So this is a very quick reset of the nervous system to the relaxed, restoring, healing side. Without moving anything else, shift your eyeballs to the right. You can have your eyes open or closed. Shifting your eyeballs to the right, waiting for an involuntary yawn, sigh, swallow, or gulp. Come back to center, and then shift your eyeballs to the left and wait for a sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. Come back to center and repeat right, left, with your shifting eyeballs and waiting. Some people may not get this sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp yet, but if you keep practicing this, it will come. Whenever you're finished, keep your hands in place, and we'll practice head ramping. So now pressing your occipital ridge or the base of the back of your skull into your hands, into your cupped, interlaced fingers and hands. Press, and then really hold, and then release. Keep breathing. I meant to tell you to keep breathing on vagus nerve reset, but you should always be breathing unless we're doing a hypopressive, and I've told you to hold your breath. Always, breath is part of this practice. So pressing, your chin drops, your nose drops, but they don't drop because you dropped them. They drop because you pressed the back of your skull, the base of your skull, into your hands with the floor. And relax and bring your hands down by your side. You may even want to put one hand at your chest and one hand on your stomach at the belly button. We're going to practice Viloma breathing, which we did last week. Just take, what's going to happen is on your inhale, and I think we'll only do the inhale this time, and maybe we'll add the exhale later. But on the inhale, with Viloma breathing, you're going to take sips. So inhale, 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 till you fill up the lungs, and then exhale. So it's an interrupted inhale. Take one ordinary breath, so inhaling and exhaling. And now inhale, 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 inhale until you fill up the lungs and your belly expands. And then exhale and release. Recoil. And a couple more times. Remember, inhale, inhale. There's a little pause after the short inhale. And do one more breath. So as you inhale, just do little sips until you fill up, and then release with an exhale. So if you are having trouble sleeping at night, you might want to try Viloma breathing, and then you might want to try one of the leg stretches we're going to do next, well, after the hypopressive. So hold on to this idea, this breath. It's a fairly simple one. And if you have trouble falling asleep, or if you wake up and have trouble going back to sleep, you may want to try Viloma breathing plus leg stretch number 1, which we'll do in a minute. Let's do a hypopressive. Let's do the same one we did last class, a bridge with overhead arms. So in a hypopressive, when you're supine, your heels are on the floor, your toes are up toward the ceiling. In this one, your arms are by your side, palms down. You're going to take 3 breaths, and then after the 3rd breath, hold your breath out. Hold your inhale out, no inhale, and lift your hips and take your arms overhead. So let's get started. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. No breath. Lift your hips. Bring your arms overhead. And I'm going to count to 10. Stay with me if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And go ahead and inhale and then exhale. Bring your hips and your arms down to the start position. Let's do one more of those. So when you hold your breath out, you should feel the rib cage expanding, side opening up, and the belly scooping. But that you don't make that happen. That's part of what happens here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. Exhale. Hold your breath out, no breath. Lift your hips into a bridge. Your arms go overhead by your ears. And I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, and then exhale. Drop your hips and bring your arms back to the floor. Now, let me say that we're going to be supine for the next triplet, the leg stretches. If you are uncomfortable spending this much time on the floor supine, try putting a small folded blanket underneath your hips to change the curvature of your spine. So that's just a suggestion for people who have back issues, either lower back or mid or upper back issues. If you change the shape of the curve, you may increase your comfort level. We're going to do legs. You need straps for this. Is there anyone who doesn't have a strap? Please tell me in the chat box and I'll make a suggestion. Otherwise, lie down on your back, supine, and bring your right leg straight up towards the ceiling and put a strap around the instep, or a little farther forward than the instep, so towards the front of the foot. So from here, straighten your left leg, unless it's really uncomfortable. Keep the left leg straight, the right leg straight, but up towards the ceiling. And now keep the hips and the pelvis, the two sides of the pelvis on the floor. Bring your leg towards your face without lifting your pelvis. So drop your pelvis a little bit, Kathy. Drop your pelvis so that and then for some people, including Kathy and probably me, I have to bend my knee because my hamstrings are so tight. Some people will be able to keep their legs straight. Just stay here and breathe. This is the second pose I recommend for insomnia. So Viloma breathing and leg stretch number 1. This, this leg stretch does a lot of things, but one of the things it does apparently is relaxes some of the tension in your body. I hope you're breathing. Go ahead and switch sides. So the right leg is straight. The left leg is straight up to the ceiling. The hips, both hips stay on the floor. And then you're bringing your left leg towards your face. This could be a little or a lot, you know, the amount of how close you can get it to your face could be a little or a lot. If you're very limber, you don't need a strap. You can hold onto your big toe with your hand. There are some people who are very flexible in their hamstrings and hips. Just stay here and breathe. There are some add-on options for this pose, but we'll do them after people become familiar with these leg stretches. I would add on some things. Go ahead and release and go to the other side. Right leg comes up, but this time you're going to take your right leg out. So everything's the same. The left leg is straight if you can get it straight. And then the right leg goes out to the right side, but keep your hips even on the floor. So how far you get it out to the right will vary person to person. The main thing is to keep your hips even on the floor. Take your right leg out to the right, and you can even pull your right foot or your leg towards your face, if that works. Drop your left hip, Kathy. See if you can drop that. So remember, it could be small. Your movement could be small. This will get bigger. So keep breathing. This is a wonderful stretch series, I think. Come on back and do the other side. Left leg up, right leg extended. Open up to the left. Keep your hips, both sides of the pelvis, on the floor. And breathe.
I feel like if I pull to right with both arms, I'm pulling my shoulder. But when I go to the same side of shoulder, put my elbow down in the floor, I don't feel that pressure anymore.
So you're putting your elbow down on the floor on the side, on the leg that's on the side of
Yes, yes.
I think
it's better. I can actually, otherwise, if I use both arms and I pull my shoulder somehow,
I think that's a good adaptation for you and maybe for others if they're feeling a lot of tug or pull or
shoulder. This way my shoulder is so comfortable now.
So now you've stabilized your shoulder is what you've done. Yes.
The shoulder, which leg goes to the side,
on the same side leg.
Yeah.
Come on back, everybody. Good idea. Thanks.
You're welcome.
That was leg stretch number 2. Leg stretch number 3. This time you're actually moving. You're going to bring your right leg up to the sky, and then you're going to take it over across your body to the left, and your hips move too. So the left hip moves underneath you, so you're going to stack your hips on the side. So literally, yeah, let's see, that leg straight, and keep going, keep going. Take your bottom hip and bring it behind you. So you've stacked. Yes, there. It's more like that, and you can use your strap as well. Use your strap with it, Kathy. Oh, come on back, Kathy. Put your strap around your foot. So can you see that this is different because now you're stacking your hips, but you're stacking them, one's on the bottom and one's on the top instead of side by side stacking. There, like that? Good. Now, if you can keep your shoulders let's see something. Keep your shoulders on the floor so that that may limit how far down you're going to go. Shoulders stay on the floor, and then the leg comes across and down. So in other words, you're stacking your hips one on top of your arms and your upper back are on the floor. Come on back, everybody. And switch to the other side. Legs, this is leg stretch number 3. Come on across, come on across. So take the bottom hip and kind of lift it up and pull it behind you. So you've stacked your hips, one on top of the other, Kathy. So come on back to straight, Kathy, and then feel your right hip going underneath your left hip. So it's a little it's a little movement, a little jog, so that it allows you more ability to cross the leg over, because you've pulled your bottom hip back behind you. This is a toughie. It can be tough. In the beginning, it gets better.
And it takes some practice.
And it takes practice. Practical, practical, practical. Come on back and release your strap and hug your knees together and rock from side to side. And come up to standing after that. You're going to use a therapy ball or a tennis ball, or your sponge ball is possible too.
Which is best?
What's best is a plus, or a yoga tune-up therapy ball plus, or alpha size. So Caitlin says she's having trouble keeping a grip on the strap. Her hands are feeling numb. I think that's something in your shoulders. I think that you have some sort of compression in your shoulders. If I were you, I would do this without a strap. We're done with it, but do that without a strap if you have that problem, and then make sure that I always include some shoulder work in classes so that we can work on your shoulder. Lots of people have shoulder issues, actually, more than you would think. Standing up, everybody, and you're going to need to have a chair nearby or some sort of safe. We're going to do the first thing we're going to do is balancing. Hold on. How many people? Well, does anyone want me to take the compass and make a picture on the screen of the compass again? Hold on. Let me try to do that. Because the first thing we're going to do is balance without the compass. Finding the compass. There. Okay. Hold on. Okay, now I'm ready to come back to you and Kathy and the screen and the class. Let's just do an ordinary balancing, a basic balancing pose where you're going to hold, if you can, for 30 seconds. No, yeah, 30 seconds. Let me get the timer set up for that. So in this level of balancing, and you can always return here if the compass is too much.
Can I see Kathy's feet?
You can't see Kathy's feet?
No.
Can you change your screen, Kathy, a little bit? Oh,
Okay. Thank you.
okay. If I were you, Kathy, I would take off my socks,
I was about,
especially for the next one. But one of the things about sockless barefoot practice is that you are using the nerve endings on the bottom of your feet to feel where you are. If you're balancing, this is a very good thing to know where you are, right? So Kathy's gonna start by standing on her right leg and then lifting the left knee up. And then I'm gonna start the timer and you're gonna try that too. See if you can do it without your hands on anything or just barely touching. And you have 20 seconds left. Breathing, balancing, and breathing. 10 seconds. And you could, in your home practice, you could increase the amount of time as you get better. Okay, that was good. Switch sides, everybody. So the knee comes up on the right leg. You're loading, double loading the left leg. This is good for bone density too. And I've started the timer. Breathing and balancing. And if you need your hands, sometimes your hands can be out like little octopi helping you. Go ahead and stop. Now, let's do the compass. Kathy, I think you might do better on the floor with the compass, not slower.
okay.
I'm gonna share the screen so you can just look at the compass for a minute. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand on your right leg and then you can even tap the floor north. You may want to go northwest. So your right leg goes across to the northwest, then back to north, northeast, east, southeast, south, and maybe southwest. Those crossovers, you could eliminate those if those are hard. The idea is to move your balancing leg, the leg you're not standing on, is to move it in a circle around your body. So I'm going to take the share away of the compass. And so Kathy's standing on her right leg. And you can do this with just a gentle touch on the chair, or you can do it without the chair. So starting across, Kathy's starting across, then directly forward, north, and then on an angle, and then there backward, and then directly behind you. And if you can, cross over. And then come on back. Very nice. Do it one more time. This is really functional movement training, you guys. This would help you balance and move with the other leg, right? And you can stop that and switch sides. Very nice. So cross, forward, angle, all the way out to the side, back angle, straight back and across. You can think of a star, you can think of a clock. And as you get better, you won't be tapping, you'll be, the toes will never touch the floor. They will almost touch the floor. Back and forth you go. Yeah, let's do one more set. So if you're touching, try to touch really lightly if you're touching the chair, so that you'll get used to doing this without. And finish up.
I feel
Very
like I'm in
light.
ballet class.
Yeah, you're done, ballet girl. Wiggle your feet, circle your ankles. That's a lot of work, a lot of good work. And there's a guy who in Utah who wrote a book called Balance is Power. And it's his proposition that he worked with, he is still working, I'm still doing this, working with athletes. He doesn't do anything except improve their balance. I mean, there's many more extreme ways to improve your balance, and these are just some of the basic ones. But he improved the performance of athletes majorly with balance. Thank you, Suzanne. Suzanne says she likes the use of the visual to demonstrate, to compass to demonstrate. Yes, I think so too. We needed something. The first time around, it was kind of rough. So that's how I came up with the compass. Anyway, so balancing can improve everything else you do. Well, you can imagine that balancing is part of everything else you do. Let's go ahead and do heel lifts. And I'll tell you a story about heel lifts too, actually. And you need to be in front of a chair for safety, but you might be able to do this without a chair or just lightly touching the chair. And we're going to start without the ball. You don't have the ball yet, do you, Kathy? No.
I have it. No, not between my, no, I don't.
We're going to start with just lifting. So I want you to do this about 9 or 10 times, lifting the heels and lowering them, lifting and lowering. So try to keep, one of the problems with depending too much on the chair is you lose your good posture. So try to keep good posture as you lift your heels. So there's a recent study that says, you know, they were studying ballet dancers actually who were having a lot of calf issues. And they were doing static calf stretches, you know, the standard static calf stretches, a little bit like the one we do on the half round. But so anyway, but they were having a lot of calf injuries. And so instead, they switched them to heel lifts and the injuries stopped. So apparently, this is a better way to create healthy calves than some more traditional calf stretches. Go ahead and add a therapy ball, a sponge ball, a tennis ball between your ankles, at the back of your ankles, and continue to lift your heels. So, and the other thing I'd like you to notice is the connection between, and it's easier to notice with the ball between your heels, the connection between your feet and your core, your abdominals, and also your glutes. So as you're lifting and lowering, see if you can find that connection. The feet are actually connected all the way up to the shoulders. Sometimes when I'm working on my feet, I get a release. I have a cranky left shoulder, chronic cranky, getting better, always getting better because of the movement I do. But I can feel a release in my left shoulder when I'm working on my feet. The last thing we're going to do in this triplet, in this series, standing series, is short foot. I recommend doing short foot a couple times a day. It really helps strengthen the muscle that runs from the front of the foot in the down the middle, from the front of the foot to the heel, in the middle of the bottom of the foot, the plantar. So go ahead and lift. Kathy's already started. Lift your toes on the right. Spread your toes, lower your toes, and press the toe pads into the ground. Wait, and then repeat. Let's repeat on the right about 5 more times. So you can alternate or you can stay on one side. It's up to you. Well, not now, it's not up to you. I just cued it, but in your home practice, it's up to you. Lift your toes, spread them, lower them, and press the toe pads into the ground. And wait just a little bit, and then repeat. And one of the ways you can progress with this is when you're down, try to also feel the arch that goes from the big toe to the little toe. So you're working on both those arches. But it's just an awareness. And after you've done 5, switch to the other side. So lift the toes, spread them, lower them, press on the toe pads. Don't use the metatarsals that are behind the toe pads. Don't press there. If you press there, you're pressing too hard and you're pressing on the wrong place. You can do this while you're seated also.
Mm-hmm.
And finish up. And then when you're finished up, come and sit on your chair. We're going to do, with a strap, we're going to do some shoulder work with a strap. So 3 shoulder moves with a strap. Have the chair face front, Kathy. So Kathy puts her feet on a brick because her legs are shorter than the chair. So you need to do that too, if that's the case for you. Put your strap in your hands. And put your hands in front of you so your strap is about hip distance apart. It will get bigger. So put your hands on your lap and then bring your arms overhead, up overhead, over by your ears, and then behind you, if you can. And behind you, both hands behind you, Kathy. That's another move. We'll do that one.
Okay.
Both hands behind you. You want to spread out at that point. At that point, in order to get your arms behind you, you're going to have to take the strap much wider. Should feel good. Open the chest, sit tall, come on back. You can use your breath. And you'll want to cinch in again before you come back out. So holding onto the strap, moving up, arms overhead, and then out to the side and back behind you as much as you can. How far back behind you you will get will vary from person to person. Some people will be able to get all the way back by your hips. And then just bring your strap forward. When you're up high above your head, you could cinch in right then and then bring it down in front of you. Right, let's do one more. Well, the problem with wrapping like that is that you're going to get in trouble when you try to extend your strap. Okay, put your hands on your lap. Start with your hands on your lap with the strap about hip distance apart. Come on up, slowly up overhead by the ears. And then open up. When you're at the top is when you spread the strap. And then you bring it down behind you. Stay in a good posture so you're not leaning back on the strap. And that should be a kind of a delicious feeling. And then come on back, arms overhead, cinch in, or it's kind of awkward cinch, and then bring your arms be in front of you. We're going to use the strap to help us with a side bend. Go ahead and bring your arms up overhead, wide, and then keeping your hips on both sides of your pelvis anchored on your chair. Go ahead and drop to the right, side bend to the right. Let your strap help you side bend. Come on back to center, other side. So keep your arms straight. Kathy, keep your arms straight. And tension, it keeps tension in your strap. Come back and do this. How many times have we done it? 2 or 1?
20.
One. Do 2 more sets, right and left. Letting the strap help you side bend, keeping your hips anchored in the chair so that the movement is in the waist and the upper back. The lumbar, when you keep your hips anchored, the lumbar is protected. Nice. There's many ways to side bend. This is one of them. And finish up your set. And the last one we're going to do is called shoulder flossing. So you start with your arms overhead, wide. Strap is wide, tension on the strap. Take your right arm up toward the ceiling, straighten it up right by your ear, bring it right by your ear. And then the left arm goes back behind you and down. Whoops, keep the right arm straight. So you're gonna need more strap, right? And then take the arm behind you. That looks right to me. And then although seeing you in 2D, two-dimensional, it's probably not always totally accurate. Go ahead and come on back. And left arm up towards the ceiling. The right arm goes behind you and down, back behind you. And stay there and stretch. This is called shoulder flossing. Do it 2 more sets, 2 more times. Frida likes my strap. This is really nice for the shoulders, for the creating some space in your shoulders, arm socket. So finish your set. Right, left, or left, right, left, right, whichever you chose. And stop and rest and wiggle your shoulders. You may want to shrug. You may want to shake your hands.
Via,
Yes.
you're not, your shoulders are still down when you're doing that, right?
Down when you're doing what?
I mean, not lifting your shoulders.
In this the shoulder series?
Yeah, when you're doing this thing.
Yeah, you're trying not to use your trapezius to do the movements.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to have a relaxed shoulder. One or two.
I'm using it, but not like lifting it.
Yes, using it, but not lifting it. Let's go ahead and do a seated spine twist. Put your hands together at your heart, prayer pose. Tuck your fingers under your chin. This is a very small and precise spine twist, just rotating the rib cage to the right. As far as you can go comfortably, and then come back to center and rotate the rib cage to the left. Obviously, the thoracic vertebra also rotate inside the rib cage. Come back to center and do that 2 more sets. And just see if your range of motion here increases. It's a very small range. Make sure that you're finding height here. So when you're doing a spine twist, find height in your spine as well as a twist. That's just a matter of thinking of good posture. Come on back. Bring your, interlace your fingers and bring your elbows up by your chin. We're going to do the inflated, deflated balloon. I also call this shoulder clams. So start wide with a big balloon in between your elbows and the elbows no lower than the chin. And then come in, press, 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 press in, inflate, deflate the balloon. And then inflate the balloon. Same thing, this is isometric. We're resisting both directions. It's isometric and resistance stretching. Should actually work the upper trapezius, the thing that Dana was just asking about. Because you don't want to be using the upper trapezius like we do. We use the upper trapezius to do everything that our scapula should be doing. So this is starting to help the scapula work and the trapezius release.
Wow.
Wow. All those. Are you okay, Cobra?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a workout.
Yeah, you can stop now.
I like it.
Okay. Let's go down on the floor and finish this shoulder set, this shoulder triplet with side-lying shoulder circles, just because I know Kitten likes them and because I like them and because all of you can get from them. So you're lying on your side with a large brick under your head, stacking your arms, shoulders, knees, and ankles. This is the only side-lying pose we're going to do today. Make it a good one. And bring your arm, start with your arm. Yep. And I'm going to mute, Cole. I'm going to mute you. Oh, maybe, yeah, okay. So we're getting some static. So look at Kathy, her shoulders are, we're not going to do that. Go ahead and take your hand on your hip. Yes, start there. Can you adjust your your bottom shoulder a little bit so it's more directly underneath, I think, hopefully. Okay, now from here, keeping your shoulders and your hips stacked, start moving your arm, your top arm behind you first, and then after behind, then it goes up towards your ear. It's a circle. And it comes forward in front of you and then back by your hip. And just do that about 5 more times. So keep the hips, the shoulders stacked. If you start to feel a pull on your pectoralis minor, which is the muscle right in front of your chest, then you're going too far with your circle. So you're not keeping your shoulders stacked. There are other shoulder circle movements. Someday maybe we'll do one where I ask you to bring your arm way back and drop it to the floor. I'm not asking you to do that now. I'm asking you to keep circling. But this is not the time for that. Remind me and someday I'll show you that. One of the things I'm trying to do is teach your body, help you teach your body some of the pure movements, some of the basic fundamental movements, so that when you want to move in other ways, you're still supported by your basic foundational movement. So that's why I'm asking you to keep your shoulders stacked. Reverse your circle if you've already done about 5. Slower is better, especially on these pure movements, the ones that are, the basic ways that these joints were supposed to move, because the brain picks up the message. Oh, this is the way I'm supposed to move in this joint. Go ahead and switch sides, everybody. Flip over. Stack shoulders, stack hips. Start to move your arm behind you. Breathing, slowing it down, observing, becoming aware of the movement. So awareness of breath, awareness of movement. When you've done about 5 of those, reverse your circle. And then stop what you're doing, finish up, stop what you're doing, and find your way onto your back for the 61-point guided meditation. So remember, if your lower back or your mid back or your upper back bother you, you may want to put a folded blanket underneath your hips when we're back on the floor, supine. I'm gonna stop my video. You may want to put a blanket over you. You may want to put a washcloth over your eyes. I want you to be comfortable and warm. I'm going to invite you to bring your attention to various body parts that I mentioned. So starting with your breath, in and out. Watching your abdomen rise and fall. And now bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, right shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, right knee, right ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, left knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This concludes your 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation. Go ahead and extend your legs and start to notice your breath. Return to your breath. Stretch your body in both directions. Wiggle your fingers and your toes like a cat waking up. Take a minute to thank your body for hanging in there with you today and feel the gratitude that your body has that you came here. Our cells need the nourishment that movement gives them. Go ahead and hug your right knee to your chest and then your left. And then both knees and the rock from side to side. And come towards the screen. This is the virtual vocabulary. And rest your head on your hands. Don't come up too fast from a floor position. Use your hands, right top hand to bring yourself up to seated. This is the safest way to come up to seated. If you know someone who can't get up off the floor, this is a really good way to get them started. You're a comfortable floor-seated position. I'm going to unmute you all. I'm going to unspotlight Kathy. Again, all of our little tiles show up. Bring your hands from your floor-seated position, bring your hands together at your heart, prayer pose. And go ahead and nod or wobble your skull at the top of your cervical vertebra, bowing to each other and saying to each other to close the class, namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Via,
Yes.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll close the record, pause the record.